At this point, I think Steam quality control is pretty much a joke, right? Well, that was my thoughts anyway when I logged on the other day and saw a new game for sale called Seed of the Dead. You don't have to be a cunning linguist to get what kind of game that's going to be, and right from the thumbnail image on the store, I knew I was getting myself into some real shit. Developed by Team Kramer, it's like Left 4 Dead, Killing Floor, and Silent Hill had an ugly anime baby generated by default assets in the Unreal 4 engine. And that's putting it nicely. This thing also had one of the funniest warning screens I'd ever seen on Steam, describing the game as having not only foul language and blood and gore, but also an aphrodisia virus, momentary pregnancy, masturbation with a machine, and of course, male character with large sexual organ. I mean, you gotta have that one.
Right.
So anyway, I don't actually know what the story in this game is, so I decided to make up my own. So your character is Chad Thundercock, and the story goes that one night Zeus came down from Mount Olympus and spent the night with an Instagram thought, and afterwards, exactly 12 days later, you were born. You inherited Zeus's mighty strength, but your mother's charisma and good looks, hence why no woman can resist you. In the year 2169, when the world is taken over by zombies that look like that one character model from Time Splitters 2, you team up with 3 young women and form a harem as you destroy the zombie forces using your powers bestowed upon you by your father. There's Hikari, who has a G36, there's Aya, who uses a pump-action shotgun, and then there's Karara, who uses a minigun. But rest assured, you won't be using any of those guns. Despite them having the best looking guns in the game, you won't lay a finger on them. Rest assured though that you will be having sex with all of these girls at one point or another, so I mean, that's a nice consolation, right? You see, aside from being a pretty crappy shooting game, Seed of the Dead has a gameplay mechanic where you can have sex with any of these girls at any time to replenish both your health and theirs. Turns out, aside from being someone who's immune to the zombie virus, means you've also got some kind of magical penis that can rejuvenate wounds and heal the sick. If only you could put this power to good use. If you can't keep these poor girls alive, you'll be cuckolded by the zombies, who go to work on the poor things, leaving a mental image that's going to stay with you for a very long time. All up, there's 15 levels to get through, though almost half of these are just scenes where the player has sex with one of the girls, which I think is supposed to be a reward. And I mean, it is if you consider low polygon, poorly animated sex scenes to be a reward. Gameplay is literally just shooting all of the things. You get a pistol, Desert Eagle, shotgun, auto shotgun, assault rifle, and an AK-47. Basically just every kind of stock weapon you'd expect to see in a low budget shooting game. The only interesting weapons are the light sword, and the EX gun. In the first level, you're in some kind of generic looking city street at nighttime, taking on waves of zombies. Now get used to this because this is what comprises the majority of the gameplay. And this is where the Killing Floor vibe comes from, as zombies just come shambling at you mindlessly and you just put them out of their misery. For your hard work, you're given a blowjob from one of the girls in a back alley, with an adult film theatre in the background. I think she's taking the whole remember to thank your healer thing a bit too seriously. Third level is similar to the first, but now you're forced to hold out in one spot, as one of the girls literally takes 5 years to lockpick the way forward. Though I don't really know what the hell she's actually lockpicking, as it just looks like she's fumbling around with a shutter door. Maybe that's why it takes her so long.
Are you shitting me?
Turns out Ira is jealous she missed out from before, so in the 4th level, you end up having a quickie with her in a filthy public bathroom stall. Classy. Maybe she's from Western Sydney.
Schwacked. 5th
stage, you're working your way through an abandoned hospital just trying to find an exit point as more enemies spawn in at random. Now this one almost feels like progressing through an environment in the traditional sense, except this whole stage is just recycled a couple levels later anyway. After you finish this one, at this point it would be rude to not have sex with the third girl, which is exactly what happens. This time it's on some filthy looking hospital bed that looks like someone emptied their ass all over it. Like I'd be worried about catching an infection from that, seriously. Next stage is the same as the 5th one, except you're holding out against a bunch of zombie waves again. The difficulty starts to get cranked up a little bit though, as you're up against guys with knobs for heads, who do wrestling moves and can soak up a fair bit of damage. It's pretty easy though, and once you finish it, you fall through the floor. An exciting twist which is all revealed through static text. And in the fall, Hikari breaks her leg. So how do you think we fix it from here? Do you think we A. apply pressure to the area, B. immobilize the leg and create a makeshift stint, or C. have sex with her? If you answered A or B, well, you're dead wrong. The answer is C. Anyway, Hikari is soon back to her feet before you rescue the other girls and find a secret underground laboratory. Afterwards, Chad is rewarded yet again for his efforts by Carrara, who gives him the most uncomfortable and awkward looking foot job of all time. I mean, he looks like he's rethinking all of his life choices, kinda like I was when making this video. What happens next defies convention, and it can't be explained by the limited vocabulary we have as human beings. To put it in its most blunt and simple terms, the girls then hop into sex machines for the next 10 or so minutes.
Right.
While you hold out against another bunch of zombie waves. Now, I can't make this shit up. Of course, Chad can't resist taking advantage of the situation and ends up having sex with one of the girls, who's still strapped down into one of the machines. Chad, you just don't get it, do ya?
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
But we haven't got time to question Chad's moral compass, because now we're in the endgame. At this point, the game throws everything it has at us. The toughest enemies come in swarms, but the weapons and ammo are just in abundance. So after a couple of mid-fight quickies and a few close calls, we've made it. We've finished Seed of the Dead. Thank fuck. Now you get to witness the triumphant ending where your character blows himself up and dies. Wait, what? Yeah, apparently Chad sacrifices himself to save the girls in a riveting and emotional scene delivered again through text that rivals the heartstrings we had tugged by films like Marley and Me, The Iron Giant, and of course Schindler's List. And you know what, I'm so sorry for mentioning those films in this video, I really am. Just when we think it's over though, it turns out he survived, and his final reward is sex with not one, not two, but all three girls. Isn't that nice? All up, this whole ordeal took me around 2 hours to finish. And if it wasn't for the whole rapey thing with the girls getting raped and killed by zombies, which is genuinely fucked up, there might be some appeal here as some kind of silly, over-the-top adult shooting game. What also doesn't help is that it's a shooting game, but the shooting kinda sucks. Only the most powerful guns are any good and register headshots. Everything else just feels like you're firing hot farts at someone. Overall, Seed of the Dead is not a good game. Do I blame myself though, or do I blame Steam for allowing this to be unleashed on the world? The real question though, is this the last we'll see of Chad Thundercock? Well, time will tell.